Positive for the week generally. We hope that the Black Stars can all kickstart a fantastic week for us. It's a team that we all love, but we don't like to show it too much because, Charlie, so we just have to be a bit cautious in all of it. But
my theory is that if you love them all the way. You adopt the Arsenal fan mentality. We love our boys regardless. You know, we're used to pain and suffering. We're used to heartbreak. We expect heartbreak, but we are die-hard fans, and that's the end of the story.
And that's fine. I think the Black Stars can do with that kind of support.
So I think the Black Stars can do with some of that.
Yeah.
I think because today's our last opportunity.
For this window, this particular window. But after this international window, there will be, I think, about 2 more games as well. But the group is very close, so it's very important that they pick their 3 points. One would have thought that against Chad would have been easier to pick the 3 points. Then against Mali, we can afford a draw and see how it goes in the subsequent games against Comoros. But unfortunately, we have to end this window by playing the main opponents that we are scared to beat. I understand their new coach has not lost a game with Mali in a while now.
And our coach says we should stop the comparison.
Well, he says he doesn't.
The list of his wins and losses.
Yeah, I said the win statistics, they don't mean much.
There's no need for that. So when I saw that, I asked, well, if he had more wins than losses, or if he had many more wins, would he have had a problem with the statistics?
I think there's this weird vibe that Otuado generally gives me. When I hear him speak, he sounds like he's winning everything. I don't see that on the pitch. Because what else should we judge you on if it's not win statistics? What else?
It's important for the players to feel that their coach has a winner's mentality, a winning mentality. And so for that, I think I can applaud him for that. You know, so I know what you mean.
Yeah.
He has to show working.
He has to show working. Because if you, how can you say that? I mean, well, they point out win statistics and say that, well, they don't matter. Not relevant. How don't they matter? Because it's not that you've won AFCON for us or you've qualified us for AFCON. The best thing you've done for us was to take us to the other World Cup, which was even a terrible performance. We exited in the first round. So we expect you to win. That's all we expect you to do. There's nothing else we can judge him based on. And I really feel that we are gradually getting closer to the end of his tenure by the day, depending on how this particular game turns out. I mean, we have to win. We can't afford to lose. We want to go to...
Are you going to the stadium?
No. The last time I went to the stadium, they played, it was against Sudan. It was 0-0. Wako Stadium, 90 minutes, no goal. No goal.
But you know, stadium culture, aside, of course, we all want to win. It's quite something to be in the stadium. You know, the atmosphere, the vibe, there's this sudden, I don't know how to explain it, but when you are at the stadium watching the match, you know, from the stadium, it's different.
It's very different.
You know, it's not like watching it from your armchair.
I love being at the stadium. I mean, the last time I was against Sudan, I went there with some of our colleagues here in the office.
It was fun, wasn't it?
It was fun. I mean, there were just a bit of difficulty getting in, but eventually when we managed to get in, it was a lot of excitement. Seeing all these wonderful big players we watch live, playing live, I mean, it was a bit different. But I mean, stadium there, we want to cheer. We want to cheer.
Well, I bought my vuvuzela. I've got one for each of my kids too. I'm taking them.
Oh, that's nice.
So we're going to... We look forward to having a wonderful...
You have to make the children happy. Black Stars, you have to make the children happy.
We look forward to having an amazing time today. But anyway, we wish the Black Stars all the best in that match against Mali today. The Lord will do it for us. In Jesus' name.
Amen. Amen. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Amen. But it's the start of a brand new week, and we're praying for success across board in all that we do. And we're on this morning from now until 10 a.m. This is TV3NewDay. My name is Nash Shoko. I'm here with...
Joseph Akable.
Looking super dapper this morning.
Thank you.
Looking super dapper. All right. What do we have in big issues today?
We'll be focusing in the Savannah region, the Benyiri conflict, which has been raging for the last couple of weeks, to the extent that thousands of Ghanaians have had to flee to neighboring Côte d'Ivoire, according to the Minister for Interior. And so that is what we'll be focusing on, just to try and find a lasting solution to it, assess the government response so far and what the actions have been. If time permits, we'll also touch on issues of consumer protection in terms of price policy and all those surrounding matters. And so that is it by way of the big issue a bit later on this morning now.
All right. And of course, we'll bring you sports as well. Today is a big sports day, and so our sports team, 3 Sports, will bring us all that we need to know in the world of sports. Yesterday was the final day for Teshin Homowo. Yesterday was the final day for Teshin Homowo, and so there was, no, Saturday, I beg your pardon. Saturday, and so the Kpashimo The
I think I saw your video
yeah.
on TikTok. You said you participated in it.
Yeah.
You did
yeah.
Yeah.
So I grew up in Teshi, right?
Okay.
But I've never participated in Kpashimo because I come from a very shielded home, and my parents would never let you go out there, you know. But I'm a big girl, so I can do what I want. So I participated in Teshi Homowo. Yes, on Saturday I went for the Kpashimo. And shouts to Honorable Reese for all the support and protection and presence, for holding my hand the entire time I was in the streets, and it was amazing. So to my people in Teshi, congratulations on a very successful Kpashimo. It was fun, it was exciting, it was violence-free, nothing untoward happened. And it was good. We'll bring you more information about that. But now it's time for This Morning, and we're talking about the Black Stars. We're talking about the Black Stars. What are your expectations ahead of today's game? Do you have any predictions you want to share? Let us know. It's time for This Morning. All right, you're welcome back. It's time for This Morning, and today we're talking sports. What are your expectations ahead of the Black Stars game? Are you positive? Are you excited? Do you believe Otoado will bring us that win, or do you have doubts? Please don't have doubts. But if you do, let us know what they are. Our expectation is that we'll all support the Black Stars, you know, give them all the vim and vigor they need to succeed today. Also, it's a Monday. It's a good day to make some good money. Cash out. Dial *439# if you haven't already. *439#. That's how you win on the show today and always on cash out. Dial *439#. Select option 2 for TV3. And we already have our first caller joining us. Hello.
Hello.
Good morning, sir. What's your name?
Yeah, now this is Peter T.
Hi, Peter T. Your sister is not here today.
It's not easy, but you are there, so you are a replacement for this morning.
Instead of a replacement for this morning. All right, Peter T. You're welcome to the show. What are your predictions ahead of the game?
Let me first and foremost use the opportunity to say that good morning to Alhaji Yaokundo, and then Alhaji Mahdi, National President NDC, and then also Alhaji Northern and Alhaji Rauf and Alhaji Chairman Ava. My sister, you know what? Me, I wouldn't want to criticize Blaster, but I would like to criticize the team, you know, as a collective entity that represents this country. And if we talk about performance, I think that Blaster cannot tell us that they don't have the materials. Because looking at the individual players at Europe, come to Semenyo, Kudus, and Co. The way we see them playing, they're scoring goals. When they come here, it seems they have nothing at stake. I don't know what happens to them when they come to Ghana. And sometimes blaming the coach too is another matter here and there, because if the players should have an open chance between him and the keeper, and he cannot score, can you blame the coach? You cannot blame the coach. Look at so many chances that they have been, you know, losing out there in that other world. So today's match it's a deciding factor that if they can't win, then we should forget about it. Because if you look at their difference, the Black Star and then the second position, it's only 1 point. So what is the guarantee that if you play draw today again, or you lose today's match, what are your chances? Very slim. So they should be up and doing and tell us a story that will give us hope and aspiration. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Peter T, for calling. You can also call us. Let us know your expectations ahead of the Black Stars game today. Are we poised for success? Do you have doubts? Do you think that Peter T says, please don't blame the coach for anything, Akable? Don't blame the coach for anything, because the play is the flaw. When they hit the pitch, it is what the players do which matter.
Yeah, but if they are not doing what you expect them to do, you can't take them.
We blame the coach.
Earlier, I was talking about the table. So this is how the table looks now. Ghana, we're on 16 points, followed closely by Comoros on 15 points, then Madagascar on 13, and Mali on 12. So you have about 4 teams that are very close to each other at less than points apart. So that makes it very, very competitive. I understand we have another caller on the line.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, good morning. Who are you calling from? Your name?
Yeah, good morning. My name is Awal, calling from Indila.
Okay.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. I want to talk about the game, the upcoming game tonight.
Okay.
I think the Black Stars to up their game, considering the performance we saw against Chad, that performance cannot even get it through against a big team like Mali. And for that matter, I think they should up their game if we get even a point. I think Mali are third on the league log, and because of that, they will push to get a victory or at least a draw to better their chances of qualifying or getting to the top. If they win, they are getting 15 points, and that means that we are just with just a point between us and Mali. And Mali being a big team is going to be very tough. I was so much disappointed with the Black Stars when they played against us, knowing too well that they are going to play with a team like Mali, which can have the results go against you or in favor of you. What they should have done is to kill the game with the second goal. But what did they do? They were so reluctant, and look at the goal we considered, the lead goal we considered. The defenders were there, they were just unconcerned. They didn't tackle and allow the guy to shoot and deflect the game into our net. I was so disappointed. I heard the press conference of Otoado, and I was so disappointed. Otoado saying that he is not concerned about the sack, even if they lose and they sack him. That is just a mentality that is not ready to serve Ghana well, because mental strength is something we should take into this game. If we are not mentally strong, definitely we cannot play with the Malians. So I thought the coach would have said that they would do all they can to win the game and to brighten their chance of qualifying, rather than just saying that even if you lose and you are sacked. That means that they are sending the mentality of even losing. And that sends a message to your players that you are not even serious about the game. So I think they should have their game. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you very much for calling. Interesting views there now.
Wow. Breathe. It's too early in the day to feel so, I don't want to say upset, but, you know, it's a passionate conversation every time we talk about football in this country. We are football lovers. We're a football nation, and our Black Stars keep playing with our hearts. But today is the day that they win without any problems. In Jesus' name.
Amen.
Amen. Let us know what your predictions are. I have some messages coming in. Let me read a couple, and then I'll take some more calls. Prince Harry from Koforidua says, "Good morning, Queen." Well, thank you, sir. The fact is that Otuado must sack himself. If he fails to win today against Mali, Ghana must win. Ghana must win. Amen. Good morning, Na and Blay. You are right. Blay looks exceptionally handsome today. Okay. As for today, the Black Stars will win by 1-0. Okay. 1 in favor of the Black Stars. 1-0. So help us God. Amen. Now you decide to wake us up this morning and give us palpitations. Why are you talking about Black Stars so early in the day? We haven't even gotten to work yet. I'm already in a bad mood. Oh, for real?
Should calm down. Black Stars will win today.
Isn't that bad?
No, I mean, the team that it's the performance over the period. I mean, that's why.
But is it that bad?
It's bad. I mean, it's Chad. We played against Chad and we walked away with a 1-1 draw. I mean, that was a game that ordinarily the Black Stars should be scoring 5-0. Even Mali today, I mean, the players we have, 4-0 is not beyond us.
Have we seen the lineup?
No, not yet. I mean, we'll know that. I think the game is in the evening. Yeah. So, I mean, we would have to wait till around 5 p.m., 6 p.m. and thereabouts. But hopefully, Thomas Partey plays. He couldn't play in the other game. We were told he was not too well. The coach, once again, was explaining that when he wanted to make a substitution, his options, Thomas Partey and the other player, were both not well, so he couldn't bring them on. Today, we don't want any explanation. What's your prediction exactly? The scoreline.
2-0 in favor of Ghana.
Okay.
2-0. I think we can easily score 2-0. Easily. Against Mali, easily.
I think maybe 4-1.
4-1.
Yeah. I thought you asked me in favor of who?
What?
I thought you asked me in favor of who?
Oh!
for one in favor of Ghana.
Charlie, don't even bring that. Don't even bring that. For
one in favor of Ghana. For one in favor of Ghana. For one in favor of Ghana. We have another caller on the line. Michael, good morning.
Good morning.
Michael, how are you doing? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Labadi.
Okay.
Now, good morning, now.
Fine, good morning.
Now, this is the first time I'm calling on this show, and I'm very happy about it.
Happy to have you.
I've been longing to call so that to speak to Nashoko. Nashoko, you and my sister were mates in Beku.
Oh, is that so?
She talk about you a lot. Netring. She's Netring.
Good things, I hope.
Okay, just by the way. Yeah, with the Black Stars, in fact, throughout to the match before the Chad game, we were all expecting good results. We were all expecting a win. In fact, a massive win. But as you know, we are disappointed. That is why this particular game, and we all know that the Malians are better than the Chad. So if the Malians are better than them, the Malians, they have improved over time. Last year when we scored them at their backyard, they were not in good form like today. So we shouldn't use that, memory to think that they are culture. The Malians are playing very well. Now they are one of the teams that are also playing very well, can compete in any competition. So we need to be careful. As for Otuado, the least said about him, the better. I wouldn't want to say much about him. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the call. Okay, you can also call us. Let us know what you think ahead of the game. Tell us what your predictions are. And if you feel differently than all of our callers this morning, it will be nice to hear that we still have some hope and confidence in the Black Stars and in our coach, Otuado, to give us a win today against Mali. And yes, he spoke about our last win against Mali. He said the team is in better form than it used to be.
Yeah.
So this match is important to Mali because they need to undo our last win against them.
Yeah, I mean, and their coach, interestingly, he says he had been applying for the Black Stars job for the last 3 years. He's been trying to get it. In fact, he says the most recent one, he was interviewed for about 4 hours. He thought he was going to get a job, and he didn't get it. So he says that he believes Ghana should be winning AFCONs. We should not be just missing out on them. We should actually be winning. So he's someone who wants to take over our team at some point. He will definitely want to show us that he's a better coach than our current coach.
So this is a big game for them.
Yeah, it's a big game.
It's a revenge match for the team, and for the coach, he seeks to prove himself to Ghana and to Ghanaians that he should be taking the job.
Okay, let's see what Alaji thinks about this. Alaji from Accra. Alaji, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing, Alaji?
Good morning, sir. Fine, sir. My prediction this morning is, first of all, I will say good morning to Alaji Kiaokundo, and then Alaji Mustafa, the Deputy CEO, Tor. My prediction is Ghana will win. We need a win. Other 1-0 or 2-0 or 3 or 100-0, we need a win. We want to see Ghana and the Black the World Cup football match. The only thing that we needed is winning. So thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Alaji. I'm sure.
100-0.
Is it the first time the kids are going to the stadium?
Yes, this will be the first time.
Oh.
This will be the first time.
Their first time memory has to be one of victory.
I had to buy Vuvuzelas.
It has to be one of victory so that it is memorable.
You know, whoever wins, I'll tell them that's the Ghana side. But, I think that, I don't know how many people are going to the stadium. I haven't really heard many people say they are going this time. We saw the ticketing, the price list came out from 1,000 cedis, from 30 cedis to 1,000 cedis. Yeah. And so, no matter the size of your wallet, you will find a ticket which you can afford from 30 to 1,000. Is it still at the University of Ghana Sports Stadium?
I would have to check. I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure. Yeah.
It's at Accra Sports Stadium. Okay, it's at Accra Sports Stadium. All right. So we look forward to a huge win today. Inshallah, all things being equal. And Alaji said, even if it's 100 what? 100-0. You know that the story about the Black Stars?
India.
scoring India 99. No,
99-1.
99-1. When Shabokwe kicked the ball, he had to decide to, play that one goal.
The version I heard, he said the guy on the Milutin was the one who scored the one goal.
It was Shabokwe, wasn't it?
Oh, he was one on the Milutin.
I don't know if Shabokwe.
There are lots of versions of that story.
But he saw the ball turned into Dadeseng.
Yeah.
You know Dadeseng?
Yeah,
right?
I know Dadeseng.
But he decided that he was going to play it anyway. And after kicking it, we scored that one goal. And then
I recently heard that Nigerians also have the same story.
Oh, they don't have the same story. Why are Nigerians like this? This is our folklore. It's our
right?
story.
Megina is on the line. Megina, good morning. Hello, Megina.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, how are you doing?
By the grace of God, we are managing.
Great. What are our expectations this morning?
You see, as I did indicate at that time, by the way, let me take this opportunity to greet the Bono Regional Director of Education. He's doing very fantastic, but there are some challenges that, according to my search, things have to be done to rectify that problem. I mean, the rural education. I was born in a cottage, and I know how it feels to come from such a place to compete with the people in the urban areas. And I think, as a state, we need to make sure there's a clause in the Constitution that states we are all equal before the law. And the
and support the Black Stars demolish Mali by 4-1 or 2-0, according to Na, who has looked into the crystal ball. And so that is it by way of the ticketing price in the very big game. Lots of expectations. We can only expect that the Black Stars will make the nation proud. If we are not going for the African Cup, at least the World Cup, which we've been going for a while now, we should be able to make it to the World Cup once again, so that all of us can go over to USA, Mexico, and Canada and watch Ghana play in the World Cup and do very well. Not just participate, do very well. All
right, we have another caller joining us. Hello.
Yeah, hello. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, sir. What is your name? Where are you calling us from?
My name is NG24, calling you from Upper West Region. Wow.
Welcome to the show. Great to have you. What are your predictions ahead of the game?
Yes, today you really punish me small. I'm coming into the line more than 4 times.
Okay.
Yeah.
4-5.
Let me say good morning to the NPP regional chairman in the Upper West region, a very hard-working young man, Chairman Alajin Aziz White. And say good morning to the local people in the Upper West region. Wala Yautuma. No, you know, anytime when I speak Wala in TV3, it seems like you people in the Upper West region because everybody is listening to you people.
Yes, I know a lot. I know TV3 is live in the Upper West region every day, every morning, because during Community Manifesto, when I came up there, I mean, everywhere I went, wherever we passed, we saw that TV3 was on. So special good morning to everybody watching us from WA today. Keep watching, and we'll be visiting you again soon.
Thank you.
Are you still there? Okay. Thank you for calling. You can also call us. The phone number is still active. We're asking you what your predictions are ahead of the game today. And while we predict the Black Stars match today, you can also win big. On this show this morning, I've got 10,000 CDs. I'm giving 1,000 to 10 of you. All you have to do is dial *439#, *439#, and win big on the show. *439#. Select option 2 for TV3, and that's how you win 1,000 CDs on the show. We call it cash out, and that's our way of giving back to you on the show. All right, more messages coming in. Nene Gaddafi from Milo Krobo says, please, good morning. The Black Stars must win this match. Oh. The players must energize the spirit of patriotism in Jesus' name. I like how religious we're being today. And, good morning, Nine. Joseph, as for me, I don't blame the coach. I always blame the technical team from Kotoka Courage in Anglonga Lashibi, Volta region, texting us. Another caller joining us now. Hello.
Hello, good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, sir. What's your name? Where are you calling us from?
I'm Jude Benmika from Kumasi, calling you from Kumasi. It's great. You people have been doing a fantastic job. I always watch your morning show every day before I go out.
Thank you.
I'm so excited calling getting through to this morning.
Thank you.
But the only thing I want to tell you that it seems we are missing the point. The point is that the Black Stars are doing business with the management team of the Black Stars actually are doing business with the team. And they must be told frankly to their faces. Because the minister had cut their women bonuses. That is why they went and did such an abysmal performance at Chad there. People should tell them on their faces, because those officials constitute and calling themselves management team members. They are controlling the boys. They are controlling the boys. So for me, the Black Stars is no longer attractive these days. If I have a chance to watch a Black Stars match, I'll just go and watch somewhere Manchester United or my Barcelona team and be free. Because I don't go there and these people will broke my heart. So now they must be told on their face, the coach has no problem. It is the management team that has a problem. Anywhere they think that government is cutting or slashing off their monies, then they start talking with the boys, then telling the boys that you should play this way so that the government will look so bad. That's how they are. Tell them that today, if they didn't win today, they're no longer attractive. They are no longer attractive anymore. Thank you very much, ma.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Our people are very passionate this morning, and he says that he doesn't blame the coach, he blames the technical team. Who's in charge of the players? Who can give us a win? Who ensures or guarantees a win? The technical team
I would say everyone,
coach?
I would say everyone in the value chain. I mean, everyone from the GFA president through to the management team. I think what he was trying to refer to was the management team, because the technical team comprised the coach, but he's referring to the management team that are responsible for managing the team, the Ministry of Sports. I would blame everyone, because if there's a victory, we've seen instances where governments have placed Black Stars qualification as part of their achievements. In the same vein, GFA presidents who are seeking re-election also make reference to Black Stars achievements. So when there is a success, everyone wants to bask in it.
Realistically speaking, in respect of the performance of the players, whose laps can we play the responsibility on?
I think it will start from the players, and the next step will be the coach.
Okay.
Yeah, because ultimately, the coach can be very good, but the players are on the pitch. They are the ones who have to execute. So they take the glory first, then it moves to the coach, then from there, the management. I would treat it in that order. But, I mean, we just want them to win today. I mean, we expect... We are Black Stars, those times...
Stephen Appiah,
Charlie,
Michael Essien,
can you imagine?
Gogo.
That was the Black Stars
Those were the days.
Asamoah Gyan.
Asamoah Gyan, yes.
It's a pale shadow of that particular
More messages
team.
coming in. Aziz Donla from WA says the Black Stars are winning. It is a must and nothing else. Absolutely nothing else. Bolga, the landlord from Bolga D-Line says, today's match is a hopeful Black Star win. 2 Black Stars, 0 Mali. All right. More messages coming in. Nah and Joseph, I hope you are fine. As for me, I blame the players. Forget about the stars. Okay. Good morning. Now, please greet Shamima Muslim for me and her husband, Al-Hachi Al-Hassan. But now today, the Black Stars will win. 3-0. Okay. I like the film. 3-0. All right. A special good morning going out to Honorable Kuzor, the MCE of Leje Kuku Krowo, and Reese Ni Amakwe, also assembly member of Chiblo. Yesterday or this weekend was really amazing. I see a lot of messages coming in from people who saw me in Teshimamli this weekend. Thank you for all the love and support. I had an amazing time during the Kpashimo this weekend. And we'll bring you more information about Kpashimo and Homowo on the show today as we go. All right, and if you just joined us, this is TV3NewDay. We're still talking about the Black Stars. What are expectations ahead of the game? Are you worried? Are you, hopeful that we'll bring home a win today? Let us know. You can call us and let us know what your thoughts are. So I was telling you just now, I was in Teshin for Homowo Kpashimo this weekend. It was an amazing experience. And ahead of Kpashimo, there's a series of things that happen. If you've never participated or you don't know about Teshin Homowo, specifically Kpashimo, this is a little brief for you. Take a look. Kpashimo. Speak to anyone from Teshin about one of the highlights of the Homowo festival, and they are very likely to mention Kpashimo. Kpashimo encompasses non-stop folklore, dance, and street music by various groups in the communities. The groups are made up of Akuchombi, young people in the neighborhood and the communities. And in Teshin, they are made up of 8 flags and over 10 groups called Go Come. Today, with the help of the municipal chief executive, who is affectionately known as Kuzor, I am visiting some of these groups to find out the significance of Kpashimo. When we set off, what I thought would be a 30 to 1 hour exercise turned out to be a 6-hour long exercise of music, dance, and a lot of walking. In order to prepare for Kpashimo, meetings begin between June and July. The actual festival begins in August through to September. Songs for Kpashimo are composed annually, and they serve as a social control mechanism, preaching peace, love, and oneness.
Very interesting one there. I'm sure there's a lot more that we'll share with you subsequently on this. We can now cross over to the 3FM studio where Johnnie is standing by for Johnny's Bite.
It's Monday, the 8th of September. Welcome to Johnny's Bite. I know that today It's the day when some people have to go on retirement. Friday was a day, Saturday was a day, Sunday was a day. Today, Monday, is a day when some people have to go on retirement. They are still bathing, they are still taking their breakfast, they will go to the office. Please don't go to the office. I'm giving you a grace period of 2 weeks. I will put your pictures and your names up there. You know that what you are doing is wrong. Don't do it. Stay at home. Let the other people also have a chance to also grow and learn and also become great for their families. Please, I beg you. I beg you, don't push me to do this. I beg you. I don't want to do this. I usually like our very own old people. I like it when you have served your nation. I like it. We don't want any more Allegebam on our hands. No. Go home if it's your time to go home. I don't want to put I have your photos. I have your date of birth, I have your SNIT numbers, I have your phone numbers, I have pictures of you going to check with SNIT whether your pension is going to be paid or not. I have all those ones. I showed you Allegebam's home. I don't want to do that to you. So don't dress up. Stay at home. Your pension is up. Take your pension and stay at home. If I know that you have turned up at work, I will deal with you the way I have to deal with you. Because I believe in let the retirees go. And I'm saying from the University of Cape Coast all the way down to the University of Ghana, all across. Please, if your time is up, go home. Go home. Don't stay there. Go home. Now, today is the Monday after my birthday. I want to say a few thank yous. Emmanuel Cotton, thank you very much for the lunch. We appreciate it. The entire Sunrise team appreciate it. Kunzo didn't eat some of the lunch. He has a dentition problem, but we enjoyed it. Thank you very much, Emmanuel Cotton. We'll come for the spa treatment. Thank you. Lawyer Hamza Suhini, thank you very much for the Islamic prayers. Father Feni, Father Emmanuel Feni, Brother Reginald, and Seche, thank you very much. To all my 3 bishops, Archbishop and 2 bishops, and then Archbishop Ben Smith, Bishop Daniel Toto, my very own bishop, and Bishop of Second D, and also Diocesan Secretary DS Oka, the bull. Happy birthday to you, Reverend Togbo, Reverend Canon Togbo, and then also Reverend Canon Kwe, and all who were there in the presence of the congregation. Thank you very much indeed. Pepsival Robertson, thank you very much. Reverend Reginald and Sergey, thank you very much indeed. And then I'll go to my parish priest, Reverend Father Emmanuel Sylvester Feni, thank you very much indeed. You like it, but you will not come and say St. Joseph. Thank you very much indeed. Also to Dr. Dennis Bote. Dr. Dennis Bote, Bolabi Bote. Thank you very much, Dr. Dennis. We appreciate you indeed. And also to you, the great one at the Ghana Water Company Limited, the great one, Adam Mutawakilu, the great one. Thank you so much indeed. These are the people who celebrated my birthday with me, and all of you who sent me messages that I haven't been able to respond to them. Aku Agbanyega Adodo, thank you very much indeed. And to all of you, let's begin. Put a picture up there, the Damba photo. Now, Tuesday is going to be Damba, Bok Damba 2025. And my paramount chief, Bonatia Salifo II, is going to happen on Wednesday. And the Queen Mother for Bogu is going to be representing from the United States of America. And yours truly is going to be there. Most honorable. Bogu Traditional Damba Festival is going to happen on the 10th of September. And please call 059 1000 38555. That's 055 100 3855. And call. The venue is going to be at the Bong traditional area, and you have to be there. And Bonazo Semina. So those of you who are from the north who come insulting me on my Facebook page, no, I'm a chief. You are insulting the chief, and you know the consequences of insulting the chief. I wore my hat or my dapla in a very special way today to let you know what it is. Now, the Ghana Water Company Limited has given us a message. They have been able to trace the turbidity level of the water. Anum apapam, and they put some figures there. Those of us who ended science many years ago, 5 degrees, 59 degrees, 54, measured raw water turbidity, 10,320 per unit. Distance from Konyaku, 51.6 kilometers. That's where the turbidity begins from. That's where the turbidity begins from. And the Ghana Water Company has been able to trace it. Congratulations to Anamuta Wakilu for fighting and insisting that this has to be found, and we have found it. Kunzo, there's a video of galamseyers, or if they like, they call themselves the... No. Show me that video. Watch this video. This was me. And they say, oh, he's an Accra journalist. He doesn't understand what is going on. I was in the water when the Mepe thing happened. I was on the river. I was in the lake. And they assume that the anesthetists, they give it to me, the hat. They say, oh, he doesn't understand what is going on. He doesn't know. He's just a journalist who lives in Accra, sits in the air condition. No. I don't support nurses and doctors who tell lies on their patients and frame them up so that they could do good. I don't support it. I don't support nurses and doctors who know that what they are saying is a lie, but they say it anyway on TV with bloated stomachs and with heavy backsides and all they say it. I don't support it. I don't support nurses who say these things wearing smoke and lying to the public. I don't say that. And they have to come and apologize to us, not just to the minister, the people of the Republic of Ghana. They have to come and apologize to us. They told us they have a video. They don't have any video, I'm telling you. They have no video. These crocodile tears that they are shedding on radio and TV, they have no video, I'm telling you. They know that they told lies. When they were looking for their positions, they came to me. I interviewed them. The tapes are there. Daniel Opoku of our labor desk can confirm this. He arranged that interview. I interviewed them on my TV, on TV3. The tapes are there. The tapes are there. How did they become liars? Because they allowed politics to take over them when they came to emotional intelligence and conflict resolution. They allowed it. Play the video again. I was there in the water. Have they walked in water before? They have not. They have not. They came to lie to the people of the Republic of Ghana that somebody's arm dislocated and fractured and blah blah blah. And what hurts me that they used a gun, form of B. They used a gun, form of B to do that. In any serious country, all of their licenses would have been revoked. All of their licenses would have been revoked. But we live in a jocular country, so it will not be revoked. Here is me. Here am I. I am not in Accra. I am in the bush. Find me another video. I'm in the bush. They say, oh, he has not gone anywhere. They say, oh, he has not gone anywhere. He doesn't know anywhere. And we are in the bush. Then we'll show some nurse delivering somebody. Do you know what we go through? Have you seen journalists going on strike before? Have you? Every day, your condition of service is that you have to go on strike. Have you seen any journalists going on strike before? Do you know what we go through? Policeman slaps us in the full glare of the public in Ablekuma North. Did you see us go on strike? You are over-pumped. I'm repeating it. I say you are over-pumped. You go to school, we pay part of your school fees. Our taxes pay part of your school fees. When you come and give people stained bed sheets with blood to sleep on it. Come and carry bed pants, you can't carry them. Then you come back and come and say that we are doing what? You are over-pumped. The people who are misleading you, who are sitting by the office around the Mochi Road there, near the morgue. The people who are misleading, who are sitting by the office at the morgue. Do they come to the wards? Do they come there anymore? I'm fighting for your interest. I'm not fighting for them. Because they will collect your dues, finish, and I'm going to give you umbrella and key holder. You think I don't know? I know. I have friends who wear green and white. I know. Who wear white. I know. They'll collect your money and come and give you umbrella and key holder. And you are not angry at them, you are angry at me. Shame on you. Shame on you. Put the video up there.
And you take a dime on that constituency and chop it on the day of judgment, you will account to the people. You will. And that is one thing many politicians are not aware of. If you take a dime that belongs to the state or the constituency on the day of judgment, you will account to every single individual who lives in that country or who lives in that constituency. Will you be able to justify this in the sight of Allah? Will you be able to do that? The challenges confronting us in this country is corruption. The challenges. I'm not a saint, but at least you do your possible best to avoid it. I don't have money. What I have, what I get is my salary. And wallahi, not a dime of Tamale Central has ever touched my tongue or bought a book for my son or my daughter. Because I know that I will account for it. And our society today, if you don't have money, you have no value in our society. The moment you are given appointment, your family thinks that their lives have changed. The moment you have a small opportunity, people think that you must provide. If you don't have, they disrespect you. And that has pushed several politicians to engage in corruption. That pushed people. And I am particularly worried. I am worried for myself as a Muslim. And I'm worried because which have I spent that I didn't need to spend? Which have I spent inadvertently or unknowingly that I shall account for it? That should be a profound worry. That should be a worry to everybody. But we don't seem to care.
Sunrise on 3FM.
They don't respect you. Even your colleagues won't value you because they think that you don't have the money they have in this country. There are politicians who could not even rent a room. And then they are busy putting up skyscrapers. Haven't they been told about the death of other politicians? Haven't they been told that there are politicians who had it all and they are no more? That is something that is profound heavy on me. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to play saint. Wallahi, Allah will bear me witness. Whatever I say genuinely. How long would you be a leader? President Rawlings had unlimited power. He's gone. President Kufuor came, had power. He's gone. President Mills came.
On 3FM,
Unfortunately,
the best in the morning.
He's gone. President Mahama came. He's gone. Dr. Baumia came. He's going in 2024.
And that's my good friend Ibrahim Murtala Mohammed. May he rest in peace and may God grant him paradise. Now, show me Lawyer Harana's photo. That's what we're ending up with. Today is his birthday. It's a September born. I never knew that as a Minister for Education. Today is a very, very special day. And lawyer Haruna Idrisu is a member of parliament for the Tamale South constituency. Today is his birthday. Happy birthday to you. Council, we wish you a happy birthday. We know you're a senior member in government, and we are asking you that the unnecessary list that has been given to the children to pay in the schools, unnecessary things that they have to bring, please put a stop to it. We beg you. Happy birthday to you. Live long, Lawyer Aduna, and prosper in good health. And one day it shall be bright. You know what I mean. One day it shall be bright. Happy birthday to you. Here ends my sermon. Thank you very much indeed. And please go.
Yes, next. Hey, Nadia Benson,
Me didn't tum. Mr. Freddy Calico, just call me cockroach. Now, Mr. Freddy once now. Hey, that's you. Improve car. Yeah. Captain Mosquito, double the action. Me did this sasso spray. Mr. Freddy sasso. Yeah, cool to my sasso.
One that has left many within the area very worried. In fact, we are learning from the Interior Minister the disturbing fact that a number of individuals have had to flee, to move over to neighboring Côte d'Ivoire as a means of finding some safe haven where they could be. Beyond that also, we know that the other individuals who have moved into various other regions within the country as well, it raises questions about assistance and support that could also go to such persons, because food, shelter, clothing also becomes a challenge at this point in time. And then if you're at home watching, just imagine, I mean, you just woke up in the morning, you decided to move towards wherever you wanted to move towards, or that you are at home comfortably watching the television. These are individuals who cannot say same for themselves because of a conflict that some of them, many of them, I must even say, may not have any idea of why the fight is even taking place, but they've had to move as a result of that. Their normal life has basically come to a standstill. Children cannot wake up in the morning and go over to school. We have workers who have fled. Persons who work in various health facilities can't even show up for work. It's a very disturbing story. The government has been responding. We know that there have been increased deployment to the area. Curfew was imposed as well, but the conflict still persists. And let's put a bit of information out there just to put all in context. We know that it's a violent clash that occurred in the Savannah region, specifically in the Sola, Tuna, Kauba districts. And in terms of what we know about the conflict, it started off as a dispute over a parcel of land and quickly escalated into a full-blown violence. And to help us put this within the appropriate context to understand how things have shaped up in the last couple of weeks, my colleague Christopher Amwako, who is in the Savannah region, is joining us this morning to bring us the very latest. Chris, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning, Blay, and thank you for having me.
We'll do a little trip down memory lane, but I want us to start off first with how things are looking as we speak. What was the very latest on this situation?
Yes, so Blay, I can confirm to you that for now, there is some relative calm in the Bole and Sola enclave where this conflict took place. Now, if you look at the Sola area where Gbeneyuri, where the incident happened itself, is found, I must say that the place, though people have deserted the entire enclave, but it's been peaceful for about 5 to 6 days now. There hasn't been any incidents of fresh attacks on any community. The people, though, most of them still are not safe, according to them, to go back to their communities. But the incidents of fresh attacks on communities have stopped. The various stakeholders, you talk about the Savannah Regional Security Council, you talk about the Sola District Security Committee, the police, and other stakeholders, including traditional authorities, are working to ensure that there is lasting peace in these communities. We all do know that this conflict was as a result of not a parcel of land, but a plot of land, like one plot of land. That triggered this conflict, where we have recorded some 31 confirmed deaths and over 48,000 displaced residents within these areas. And so, Blay, for now, one thing is that we are still seeing people coming to, especially the Sola camp, because those who have fled into neighboring Burkina Faso and La Côte d'Ivoire, some of them have their relatives at the Sola camp, and so some of them are able to move from there by themselves into the Sola camp, which is within the Ghanaian territory. And so that is what we are seeing now. Apart from that, like I indicated, the peace talk is continuing in these communities, and the residents are being engaged, as it were, to reintegrate into their various communities. That is what is happening now.
Talk to me. You mentioned the camp. I mean, talk to me about what the impact has been. I mean, in the most affected areas, How are things looking there? Because in any Ghanaian community, you're going to have schools, you're going to have hospitals, there'll be churches there, there'll be businesses there. How are things looking now compared to the heat of the conflict, and even before then, how were things generally within that area?
So a lot of things haven't changed. One, we talk about schools have reopened. You go to the affected areas, the children are not there, their teachers are not there, so automatically we know that schools have not been in session. Today is a Monday. The children are supposed to be in school, but they cannot go to school. Their teachers cannot even go. Their teachers, most of them are nowhere to be found. They have also fled these communities. Now you talk about issues of their economic activities. That has been brought to a halt the very day the conflict started. I've been to the Gbeniri community and other affected communities, and Blay, I can say that there could be a possible food security threat in this area because a majority of the people who have fled are farmers. In fact, these areas happen to be the food basket of the Sola and Bole areas. And so the farms are lying, the weeds are taking over their farms. Those that were ready for harvesting, as it stands now, they are unable to harvest them. Now, when we talk about livestock and other animals, it's also a very big issue that has been impacted as a result of this conflict. Most of the animals are dying. Others are not even able to trace their animals as a result of this conflict. And so, generally, Blay, I must say that it is having a very huge impact on every other sector of the lives of the people here. You talk about their social activities have equally been affected. Fridays happen to be the major market days for the Bole community. And I must say, admittedly, that on Friday, the market looked deserted, almost empty, because majority of the people who bring the food items into the market and also come to buy other things were unable to come. And so it is having a very huge impact on business activities as well. Now, when you look at the kind of life these people also live at the various camps, you can tell that life is very hard and difficult for them to live at these camps. And so, Blay, when we are going to talk about the impact that this conflict has brought, I think that it is hugely and negatively impacting on food security. You talk about health, education, every aspect of our human endeavor.
Let's talk about the Côte d'Ivoire angle to all of this. I mean, what's the story there?
Okay, so when the conflict broke, you know that the Bole and Sola areas, it is the Black Volta that divides or separates Ghana from neighboring Burkina Faso and La Côte d'Ivoire. And so that was why we recorded the drowning issue as a result of people trying to flee into neighboring Burkina Faso and Côte d'Ivoire. And so when the conflict broke, most of the people who were fleeing, because of fear that when they come towards the western part of Gunjaland, that is where you talk about the Sola and Bole areas, their safety may not be guaranteed. And so the best was for them to cross to the other side of the West African sub-region, that is Burkina Faso and La Côte d'Ivoire. So we have majority. So if you go to the Vonkoro area, you know, Vonkoro is the first community in La Côte d'Ivoire when you passing through Bole Chache area. So you cross, then you get to Vonkoro. This is where majority of the people have moved into. Now, according to NADMO, about 19,000+ people are in the Vonkoro area. Displaced people are in the Vonkoro area. And the people, when they migrated there, the Ivorian government gave them shelter. In fact, when I talk about shelter, they accepted them into that area as refugees. Unfortunately, these people still sleep in the open, even though the Ivorian government has made available a temporary shelter. In fact, I've been to the place, I've seen that accommodation for them, but more work needs to be done. The place needs to be weeded because the weeds and grasses have taken over the entire place. They have to do some thorough cleaning before they are able to move into that temporary shelter that has been provided for them. But I can confirm to you that majority of them still sleep in the open because they were being accommodated in a school infrastructure. Unfortunately, because schools have also resumed in neighboring Cote d'Ivoire, they have to move from the school block, and they are occupying a market structure, and that place is open, and so that is how they have been living since moving into the area. Let me also add that those of them in that area, their food and other support that gets there is woefully inadequate to meet their daily demand. When we talk about 19,000+ people there, then you have food that gets there not even up to 1,000 a day, then it means that it's something that is affecting them. Raw food has been supplied to them for them to be able to cook themselves to supply. That is also not enough to make for their daily food needs, because we all do know they have moved from their communities into a different area. Okay. They were unable to carry their food into that area. And so access to food and other things is a big challenge. Now, where they sleep, even though some tents have been provided, but it's not also enough for them. And so they are facing a very big challenge, even though the Ivorian government has also supported, because some food items were provided by the Ivorian government to them to also make up for the difference in quantity of food supplied to them. Okay.
And Chris, finally, the curfew, we know there's been a curfew that was imposed right after the conflict started. I mean, we understand some concerns are being raised by residents. If you can briefly wrap up on that angle for us.
Okay, so Blake, before that, let me also indicate that yesterday, NADMO received some 1,500 mattresses and here in Sola and Bole, and which will be distributed to the displaced victims, and some 5,000 mosquito nets. And so when it comes to where they sleep, probably some support is coming in as well. Now, let's talk about the curfew hours and the alleged abuse on human rights and others by security operatives in the area on the Bole residents. Now, this issue has come up because the Arise Bole Youth Group has petitioned the Interior Minister, indicating some issues of abuse on the residents. In fact, they also indicated that it led to the death of a certain man. And so they believe that the security operatives should rather use the opportunity to educate residents on the issues of curfew and not to abuse them. The Member of Parliament for the Bole Bamboy constituency, Yusuf Suleimana, has also added his voice to this call and has also written to the Interior Minister, calling on him to investigate what the youth are saying in the Bole area. So that is what is happening here, Blake. But security operatives in Bole have vehemently denied this allegation. They have told me that they are rather now doing peace building than strictly enforcing the curfew hours. And they've been giving me instance.
All right. Chris, thank you very much. Fantastic reporting as always. Keep your eyes close on this one. If there's any development, we'll come back to you subsequently. That is my colleague Christopher Amwako joining us from the Savannah region. He has been covering this from when it started, and that perspective was very important to enable us to understand where we have come from and where we find ourselves now. Let me introduce you to my guest in the studio, Dr. Bernard Tutu Boanye is a political strategist. Doc, thank you very much for joining us on Mondays as always.
Thank you.
Next to Doc is Theophilus Jimega. He is a member of the National Democratic Congress communications team, a legal practitioner. And the last time I had him on the Tuesday session, he reminded me he was an engineer as well.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us.
Pleasure.
And next to Theophilus is Andrews Apia Dankwa. He's a legal practitioner and a member of the Movement for Change, senior communicator. Senior, thank you for joining us.
Always a pleasure.
Let me start with you, Counsel, and on this developing story. Okay, I also have on the phone lines as well Richard Kumado. Richard Kumado is a security consultant, regular contributor on this discussion. I'll come to Mr. Kumado very shortly, but let me start with Mr. Piadankwa in the studio. And when Chris was running through where we have come from, I mean, for me, I was shocked and disturbed that individuals are fellow citizens. And I had said a parcel of land. Chris tells us it's a plot of land. I mean, this is a very worrying story.
Yeah, so let me wish your lovely viewers a good morning. Let me wish yourself a good morning. Always a pleasure to be in Prof's company and my learned friend here. Hopefully we can have a very good discussion. Yeah, I think it's a worrying story, but what even worries me more is the fact that issues concerning conflict, perceived conflict amongst tribes seems to be on the increase, and it seems we as a people, and I don't want to say government because it may be misinterpreted because that's not what exactly I mean, but I feel that government properly so-called, not necessarily NBP or NDC, has failed to have a strategy to deal with tribal conflicts. And then you take into consideration the Boko issue, I think it's lingered for too long. And now we have this what's called issue. What I did not hear from your colleague was the root cause of the issue. As in, when you say a plot, is it a conflict between two individuals, or is there a conflict that is premised on two what's called traditional authorities laying claim to what's called a plot of land? For me, I think we need to have a strategy because Ghana essentially is an amalgamation of a lot of ethnic groups. In some cases, even some sub-nations, and we have created this artificial polity called Ghana. And in the system we have created, largely the lands are owned by the traditional authorities. Now, for us as a people to have a similar society where conflicts are minimal, then there must be a strategy of handling some of these things. I know we have a ministry for chieftaincy, as in what's their role? Is their duty just to deal with chieftaincy issues or finding ways of having a seamless traditional settings? Because once we've accepted to recognize what's called a traditional polities also, then we must deliberately find ways of having this seamless system. Because we speak about NADMO, we speak about the police and the military, but all what they will give us is immediate resolutions without dealing with the underlying factors. And so like the Boko issue, we find some peace for some years and then it escalates again. We can't continue in this way if you ask me, because the reason why we formed a nation was to create a system where our lives will be protected, you understand, our liberties will be guaranteed, where we create a society where our individual ambitions can be realized. Now also, in creating this country called Ghana, we decided to amalgamate a number of nations together, so that if we do not have a way of dealing with the already existing traditional systems, because I don't know for a fact, but from the little I've heard, I understand that there's a conflict between the Gonjas and the Lobi people. You have the Gonjas that have an established centralized governance system, traditional governance system. And you have the Lobi people whose system is as follows, like the case in between what's called the Mampusis and Kusasis in Boko. So clearly you have different cultures, you have different value systems, you have different ways of doing things. How do we assimilate all these into that one polity called Ghana without having to deal with these issues? And I think we can only deal with that if we are truthful, we are honest. If we are not afraid to deal with the factual issues, then we can live together as one people. But all you hear is one plot. Who owns that?
I can tell you. I mean, Chris, it's difficult conversation. So you get the communication around it sometimes.
We must not be afraid
trying not to, because sometimes in putting out the information, you end up inflaming passions, that also is one. It's a context within which you have to operate in.
But unless we gather the courage to deal with the truth, because the land also belongs to somebody. Unless we find a way of not being afraid of speaking the truth, then we just dance around these issues, like we've danced around the Boko issue.
Okay.
Like we've danced around all the other issues that borders on the foundations of this country. Because, like I said earlier, Ghana is a country that was formed through the amalgamation of a lot of societies. Different societies, different values, different systems of governance. You understand? Once we recognize that we want to give respect to our traditional settings, there must be a strategy of dealing with the conflicts that may arise, and we can't deal with those conflicts unless we are unafraid to speak the truth. Because, like I said, I've tried following and nobody seems to be.
It's like everyone is being careful.
Yeah, to gather the courage to ask the right questions. Okay. Not about, because I don't know who owns the land.
Okay.
Yeah. But we must, unless and until we find a way of determining who owns the land, then this may be the beginning of a very long conflict, where like in Boku, we dance around the issues, we find some temporal respite, but the underlying issues still exist because we don't seem to have the courage to tackle some of these issues head on.
Okay. So, I mean, Chris confirms exactly what I was saying about. So, the individuals belong to different tribes. They had the dispute over the said plot of land, and just because of the sentiments within. Let me bring in Mr. Kumado. Mr. Kumado is on the line. Good morning, Mr. Kumado.
Thank you.
I was having a conversation with someone over the weekend, and the person opened up the Ghana map, and he was simply showing me various parts of the Ghana map, just pointing areas where there are tribal conflicts here and there. And very interestingly, is that predictive? This is not a security person. It's just someone who just pays attention to the news, and he could identify where these conflict areas are. I mean, Council here makes the point that it does appear that successive governments over the period, we do know where the conflict-prone areas are, but we're able to more or less relative peace restored. Then after a while, there's a bit of emergence once again. Are we getting the approach wrong, or is simply the nature of such conflicts being unpredictable is what is accounting for the trend?
Definitely, I agree. Let me also add this other one for you to laugh a little bit. We were telling our colleague that why would you want to be doing that to the northern part of Ghana? You move the guns from Yendi, send them to Boko, and you are moving them to Sola, Tuna, and we will not agree. And the people we're having a conversation with were people just like the one you had a conversation with, who had nothing to do with security.
Yeah.
And they were able to tell us all this, and we laugh over it. But I agree with you. That is what I've said, that as a nation, our preparedness towards managing national crisis is very bad. And it's not just poor, but it lacks merit. So I think we need to prepare. We need to prepare for emergencies such as this. Then the other one, before you put me on, I heard one of my uncles in the city talking about we being bold and we being courageous enough. Can you imagine a plot of a land creating a displacement for almost all large communities along that road? I have stayed in Wa for 8 years. to Bole Bamboy, to Sola, to Wa, to Hamlet, to many of the places we are talking about. If you are conversant with the area, this is a vast area with isolated communities or villages and cottages. So if you classify them by tribe or by their density, and you decide to trigger one, it affects a whole lot of people. And so that is why you see everybody running scatter, coupled with the fact that they are using disinformation and misinformation that don't come back, and when you come, you will be attacked, and many of those things. It is also part of what we don't do properly as part of public education, creating an awareness that, hey, we are one people, let's live together. Christopher said that some of the people were running to Côte d'Ivoire and many of those places. Because we are Africans and we came from other places before we all settled at other places, if you check the prehistorical background, you will realize where some of these people occupy some of these lands on the Goja land might have been coming from. And in times of conflict, they want to run to where their ancestors are or where their uncles and aunties are. So that is where we are. And I agree with you that it's unfortunate that one plot of land could cause a displacement for the large number of people we are talking about.
More specifically, is they approach the problem. And I ask because whenever this happens, and you heard Chris make the point clearly that things are better now. Obviously, there's been increased deployments there, but those are not lasting measures because after a while, we would have to gradually withdraw and it emerges again. We see it play out in other areas.
Because it's not a security, a national security sort of operation, these are things that got to do with land. These are things that got to do with chieftaincy. These are things that got to do with tradition. Where do tradition comes in? Where do chieftaincy comes in line with land acquisition and land ownership? And where the state comes in? This is something we have not been able to do properly as a nation, prehistorical Independence Day. And they have run with us up to where we are now. We passed the Land Act. It didn't work. We passed the Chieftaincy Act. It did not work. As a nation, we need to gather courage and speak to ourselves frankly and know that when something goes wrong in one community, it does not just affect those community people, but it affects everybody. And do you know why this point is important? This particular land we are talking about, this is not the first time there has been an issue on the land. So the question you ask yourself is, at that particular time, if the state has put a hand on the land, knowing that something like this could have happened, would the traditional authorities be happy with it? Would the local authorities be happy with it? Would they go behind the scene and use politics to deal with the issue? Then again, when you relinquish power into the hands of the traditional authorities, do they have power to manage situations such as this? That is the question. Then you also ask, what has been the role of the other sub-chiefs within these communities in relation to land acquisition, land sales, and land registration, and land entitlement? Those are the questions we need to be asking. But if we want to bring in the state, then the state can say that this whole area can be taken over by the state, using the state power and statutory laws, so that they can prevent conflicts such as this, because the state can be more proactive and the state can put in a security measure that deals with things such as this. But because we are managing a country where the lands are in the hands of the chiefs and families and clans and individuals, it makes it very difficult for the state to put his hands on the land and say, we are taking this land purposely for ABCD because we are fighting. And so that is the problem we have. And I think we need to be courageous enough to address this issue as quickly as possible before a land issue, one plot of a land, displaces thousands of people, and people are dying as a result of anxiety and health crisis and fear and nervousness, and many of those ones that will not be directly related to a gunshot or any of those ones.
Mr. Kumar, I'll come back to you shortly. Let me just run something by Mr. Piadamka before I come to council next to him. Mr. Piadamka, he makes the point about either we want to vest or compulsory acquisition on the part of the state. Do you think that that is a viable approach in some of these areas, not just limited to this particular incident?
No, because I think the Article 20, I think, of the Constitution is clear. If the government doesn't have use for the land, you understand? I think just taking over the land because of conflict is still hiding, because in that issue you still have to make a determination as to who to make adequate compensation to. So then that line of question, who owns the land, needs to be dealt with. Or otherwise, just saying that I'm compulsorily acquiring the land. Won't solve the problem because per the constitutional provision that governs how that is done, one critical issue is paying adequate compensation to the owners. So then the same issue will crop is it? Probably that maybe lead to a bigger conflict.
Now that's in fact under the new Lands Act, the money has to be put in an escrow account even before the
exactly.
So that now there's money at stake.
And you're going to do A and B things that the money is for. So for me, the fundamental issue is in finding ways of dealing with the root issues. You understand? And that's what I'm calling for courage. It's like in this country we are all afraid. We are afraid to face the truth head on. So just vesting the land or compulsory acquiring the land for me doesn't solve the problem. We need to deal with the root issues of these issues. And once we deal with that, then I think there'll be no reason why we can't live together as Ghanaians.
Let me come to Mr. Jimega now. Where do you stand on the conversation about perhaps how we dance around it sometimes and his approach that the root cause, we just have to be direct and resolve whatever is causing the conflict?
Yeah, let me say a very good morning to your viewers and those who are watching online. Permit me to do two things. The Zongo community in Hohoe lost the municipal imam. So my condolences to my colleagues in Hohoe, my brothers, particularly the one called Klinsman. Then let me also say a very warm thanks to the NDC lawyers' leadership. You know, we had a very successful conference over the weekend. My senior brother, Eduji Tamakolo, and of course the chief of staff was present, and the national chairman was also present. And for all the others that worked for the success of the conference, good morning and thank you. I am worried about this conflict for a number of reasons. Recently, our position on the Global Peace Index has fallen. Now, that goes on to affect investor confidence in the country. It doesn't become a country of choice or a destination of choice for people to say, I'm going here to do business. If a lot of investors will come in, will build, etc., and land issues are critical to investment. So for us to start to be fighting over land is a very big worry to me. Then, particularly where this incident is happening, is just not too far from the hometown of His Excellency the President. So now the President will be damned if he takes very strong, decisive actions one way, where somebody will say, oh, because maybe one of your aunties was from this community or married here, so you are taking this decision. Another will say, oh, because you don't have anything to do with them, they used to be enemies of yours, your ancestors, you don't want. So it becomes a very dicey situation. But in all, if I'll borrow a leaf from his book, it's a bit of a shame for people who will be claiming that the leader of our country is from our area. Yet we are doing this not to glorify the name of the leader of our country. The community should pay attention to that. The other thing that worried me about this conflict is education of the youth and children. It's in jeopardy now. Nobody can come out. And tomorrow we are going to be raising children that will become nobodies tomorrow. And they will trace their nobodyness, if that where they exist, back to the conflict of today. So we should sit up on this. Yes, I may not go for the direct approach. I still believe that there are persons within the communities that have intermarried. So when you are fighting this man, you are fighting either your brother's wife or your sister's husband or anything similar to that. So the rigorous stakeholder engagement. The positive thing coming out from there is the youth taking decision to say that the land issue, these wars are not our enemies, or our neighbors are not our enemies. Our enemies are roads, other developmental issues. And when I read about the youth taking those steps, it gladdened my heart. We can't take the land away. If it happens tomorrow somewhere, what if a community decides that this land, we don't want our neighbors to use it? Let's start some fight so that the government will acquire that land. So we don't have it, they don't have it as well. as we say, if it will go to goal, so let it go to corner. It will not be a very nice thing. If you pay attention to what Mr. Kumado said, I also know the area quite well. I've worked in the northern region and had projects in Wa, passing through Laribanga, Sola, all those areas. They are not concentrated areas like give and take, maybe Afienya, Dodowa, Soro. They are especially
populated
areas.
You have people living all around large area of
like
land.
5 or 10 here, then you see another somewhere. So it will become very difficult to say we are taking this whole portion away from the persons. I keep asking myself, will the security post do that will have a rapid response team that will respond to some of these things? But we have pockets of conflict all over in the country. So I think that much as our security will be on top of things, we must have the intelligence to pick that this is going to boil beyond a communal clash into a full-scale war. Then Ghana used to receive refugees.
Yeah.
We even have a whole community that they have assemblymen. In future, they will soon have MP in Bujumbura, which we have given to refugees. Now we are exporting refugees. I mean, that can't be the situation. And when you pay attention to the news item, it looks like the dignity of our people is also highly compromised, and the people are not living the lives that they need to live. So I plead with all factions that lay down your arms. When I say lay down their arms, then I ask, how did they get their arms? That is also another thing. We have the Small Arms Commission. What are they doing about things like this? So please lay down your arms. Let your people return to their community, because trade is affected, agriculture is affected, education is affected, your other social activities, as your reporter said, are affected. So to me, it is not just a one-way approach of let's be bold and attack it, but we can manage being bold or being assertive and also using a bit of diplomacy and a stakeholder engagement to get this conflict down. Because at the end, I gave this as an example. You remember there was some years back when we had a Miss Universe in Nigeria and some conflict came. I was at a train station in Belgium, and somebody pointed at me and said, look at your country. What is happening? I've never been to Nigeria then. I never knew where but you see, so it is going to be one brush that will be used to all of us, wherever they are outside Ghana or Africa, to say, look at how these people are behaving. And it doesn't augur well for us. So to me, I plead with everybody to lay down their arms, listen to the elders. And if you notice as well, the Bole chiefs, the Yagbonwura, etc., they're also making very serious effort for this to come down. Let's give them the chance. And we don't need a full-scale blown war so that people will return home.
Doc, earlier Council made the point, and the Council also makes the point about the political twist to it, about how the political elements, I mean, one way or the other, there is connection to the area. So it may make it a bit difficult, and depending on how you go hard at it, it may also fuel passions and worsen the situation. But I mean, Mr. Piadankwa makes the point strongly that we have decided to give our power to a democratic system where we elect. How do we manage the political concerns, knowing very well that the power of enforcement lies with the democratic state that we have?
Brother, another new day. Good morning to you. Good morning to your crew. Good morning to our cherished viewers. They follow us almost every time. And, we are grateful to them. And good morning to my seasoned lawyers, my friend Piadankwa, my new friend. First time meeting you.
Yes, pleasure.
It's nice meeting you, Doc.
Pleasure.
So I think that, you see, the lawyers have said it well. You know, hitting the nail right on the head would be one form of a solution, which for me, I think that the courage by our traditional leaders, the kind of courage that we need as Ghanaians, and those that are supposed to be exhibited by our politicians, is lacking. and actually flaming, the fire, for these hidden, conflicts up north. You see, this issue about the Mamprisi-Kusasi war, which was, linked to Dr. Bawumia. Now, you see the president himself and the interior minister, Aoda Gombes, from the Savannah area, right? Gonja. Okay. And this one is within the Savannah, right? And my good friend is also saying that it is somehow closer to the president's hometown.
Close to Bali.
Bali,
Very close to Bali, yeah.
Now, for all you know, there may be some family ties with the family of the president. And so it becomes quite complicated, especially in a country where intermarriages, tend to be an underlying factor to our relationships. And so it becomes quite difficult when we push some of these conflicts to the doorsteps of politicians, all right? And as it were, probably put some level of propaganda, against them. I think that this is not a time that we need to be talking about politicians. It's not a time for us to be putting a political twist to some of these things. I believe that, when you look at the history, when you read about this Benyiri conflict, all right, I hear it started somewhere in the 80s, which is a long way, And coming from that, I don't think that any of our politicians today had even announced that decision to become a politician. All right. So it would be very wrong for anybody, to cite the president or to cite any other body to it. Now, again, it is a long-standing, conflict related to land. And when we check, you read from what your reporter said, a chief, that's the Benyiri chief, sold a plot of land. You don't know whether it is by 100 by 100 or 100 by 70 or even 50 by 50. Okay? And that is why what has displaced over 13,000 people.
48,000.
48,000. Okay, 48,000. Right. Yes, 48,000. And then 13,000 in Côte d'Ivoire as refugees.
31 dead.
31 dead. Look at this mess. Look at this mess. You see, for me, as a teacher, I say things the way I'm supposed to say because I train people in the classroom. And in the classroom, if somebody is misbehaving and you don't tell the person you are misbehaving, right, that character, in the classroom, our tenant is that we don't only train the mind, we train children holistically. You understand? So your character and everything. And that is what I believe. That you see, the other time when we were discussing the Mamprisi-Kusasi conflict, I said it, that this is not about politics. It is about the people. Look, the president sits at a particular location in Accra, right? And doesn't have the eye to see whatever is happening in Benyiri. So if you are chief in Benyiri and you know that there is a problem with land, this land, why do you go ahead and sell it? Why? Why? Is it because that chief doesn't have any historical knowledge of whatever is happening within his surroundings? So at best, what happens is that we will not agree. You agree. Then your house is burnt. Right? Then other people also take up arms, retaliate, and kills another chief. I think the other one, is it the Kaba chief, has been killed. That's what I read yesterday. All right? So what is happening? It's an issue of retaliation. So you see, what Lawyer Pierre Dankwa said is that, look, at a point in time, you take military men there, they calm the situation, then you write sensational news headlines and say that, peace has been restored, security has been restored, people can now go back to their houses, work, and then so people will come back. But the actual fire has not been quenched. Certainly one day, as long as the land dispute remains, this conflict will erupt again. So who is going to solve it? Who? When this Mamprusi-Kusasi war came, no chief in the northern region was ready to deal with it. It has to come to the Asante-Hene.
I mean, that could potentially just explain the fact that there's the likelihood of alliance here and there. So, I mean, it's only fair that you have an independent...
That is what I'm coming to. That is what I'm coming to. So, if one chief is backing another chief, and probably one politician is backing another ethnic group, what is going to happen? What can the Asante-Hene do? Would he always be solving problems up north? All right. What about his own internal problems? So for me, I believe that unless these ethnic, groupings up north there, from northern region, Savannah, whatever, upper east, upper west, unless these people come together to know, to understand, the effects of such conflicts on their very existence and development, nobody can do anything for them. So you see, all the effects, look at this harsh weather, that you find people sleeping outside. What is going to happen? And the most serious thing do you know that this morning one person has been killed? I hear the person was going to charge his phone.
Yeah.
Where?
In Kaba.
In Kaba. He was going to charge his phone from his village on a motorbike, going to charge his phone. He has just been shot and killed. You simply don't get the understanding.
Okay.
As if human beings and human lives doesn't matter. As if retaliation is everything. Look, we talk about the northern part of Ghana being one of the poorest areas in Ghana. Underdevelopment and all that. Why? Is it not because of some of these things that is causing some of these problems? I mean, people travel from north, they come, they hustle in Accra, they get money. They don't go back to help in development. Unlike other, when you say it, they will say that we are being... But that is the reality. You understand? That is the reality.
Okay.
That you get a fancy coming to Accra, getting money, going to put up a decent, structure in his hometown, to help his own people. It becomes quite difficult for people up north to do same. The very few people who have done that, are equally doing that, not because they have to do it, but because they feel that, let me go and put something down there so that when I go home, I can get a place to sleep. But when conflict erupts within that enclave, if you are not careful, you lose your property.
Okay.
You see, so I think that stakeholders up north, they should see themselves as one people. They should come together, understand the extent to which these trivialities is costing them, not just them alone, but the country as a whole.
Okay.
How many military men and policemen were sent to, the Mamprusi land, Wa and the likes? And how many people how many military men, security men are we going to send to Benin? Is it not cost?
Okay.
Is it not going to retard the progress of this country? So we need to be careful about some of these things.
Let me get back to Mr. Kumado on the line. Mr. Kumado, I want us to talk about our law enforcement approach within such conflict areas. I mean, if in any part of the country, anyone slaps someone or shoots the person, you just have the police make an arrest and the prosecution takes place. I mean, a lot of the time in these conflict areas, whenever there is an incident, we barely see arrests taking place. Then what mostly happens, in fact, what we see happen is there's always retaliation. There are those who say that the justice system is not in operation in such areas, potentially out of fear of repercussions, because we've also seen the security agencies themselves become targets sometimes. What should the law enforcement approach in such areas be?
It's not the case that the security agencies become targets sometimes, so they cannot enforce the law. It's politicians who hold the hands of the security agencies, and they don't allow them to enforce the law. I have always maintained this simple position, that non-punishable offenses will always rationalize bad behavior and promote antisocial tendencies in society. Politics divides the people, and politics is very divisive. So if you have politicians leading security officers, they will create problems. And in most of these cases, you have a politician as the dissect head or the research head. What about if they are accomplices or they have been compromised? Or their very people are the ones creating the problem? They don't allow the law enforcement officers to enforce the law to the core. That is one point. Number two, when it comes to how effective we have been in dealing with issues of crime prevention and crime prosecution, the justice system plays a very key role. And I agree that once we have done investigations, once we get a culprit, we take them to court, and the court either takes forever to adjudicate, or the court will not send the bad boys into prison and leave them back into society. That also have a negative impact on what law enforcement officers can do. But overall, I can tell you, there is the politics. Ask yourself, why are people killing people and walking free? I can be for you and I in Accra, the city of Accra, holding a gun and even pointing out at people. You go to Sawam or sleep at the Nima police station or Katome police station. So why are people shooting people? And we know who they are, and they have been warned not to touch them. Politics, some of the things politics have done to this country it fuels criminality and fraud, and it doesn't really realign what we are talking about. Where we borrow this democracy from, yeah, they are also not perfect, but they are accountable. But in our case, there's no political accountability. Nobody takes responsibility for anything. Even when black people are wrong and everybody knows they are wrong, and the soothsayer know they are wrong, and the prophet know they are wrong, they will not resign. They will hold on to their position, maneuver things, send guns and arms into people who have no legitimacy. We are destroying ourselves and we are destroying our people. And I want to agree with what my uncle just said before you put me on. I have my mother at Wazongo looking at me and watching this morning. And I have families right from Bali Bomboy down to Hamili and to many of those places. I want to say to them, do not allow politics to divide you. It's a trap. And no good thing will happen to you when you allow politics to divide you. Because your big men and big women will stay in Accra. They will never come back. And the Southerners will develop, and the development will overjump your own for many years. And many of the things you want to achieve, the educational gap you want to close, and many of the things you will not, because you have been divided. So please, I'm one of you, and I'm your son, and I'm begging you, using TV3 saying that, please, upper west, upper north, upper east, do not allow politics to divide you. Let's come together. Let's come together, resolve our problems, and let us not be fighting over one plot of a land. Not 1 acre, one plot of a land is nothing to be displacing 35,000 people and be killing people. It's unheard of. And even the Christian God and the Muslim Allah will not forgive us if we continue in this pageant.
Another aspect of the conversation that has come up strongly has to do with arms. And I'm looking at a report from the Ministry of Interior on some of the operations, particularly of the Small Arms Commission, trying to deal with illegal arms. They go around the country, they try to sensitize blacksmiths who are engaged in the production. It still does appear that we have a lot of illegal arms within the system. All of these conflict areas, there's a big market there. How are we unable to deal with this many years when we've tried amnesty, among others, for people to show up and give up their arms, but that is still not working?
Before we get to Akotia, the IGP, Uncle Yohane, said it's going to take 5,000 people to Akotia. And they went out there and do some searches. They were able to retrieve some arms. Would the state provide the resources for all homes and all villages and all farmlands and all cottages and all kitchens to be searched and retrieve those arms? It is a question for the state. How did the guys got the arms in the first place? It is a question for the state. Why are people not being punished when they hold arms and the arms are in the hands of illegitimate people? It's a question for the state. And I can believe there are people in this country whose legitimate business is to import arms into this country. We will need to enhance the due diligence in those areas. Then we also need to do a serious background check, a comprehensive background check on people who want to possess arms in this country and their arms registration. Then, of course, you have the locally manufactured arms groups who have also built capacity. But those ones do not create much problems like politicians smuggling arms from Accra, from all over the country, and from all over the world into the hands of their tribesmen and their kindred, and to use it to kill other people, and they walk away free, and they think nobody knows them or nobody knows what they have done, and they smile with everybody. But they are the ones. When it is election, day to election, do you know how many arms come to this country when it is time for our election? We just had a report before Omanyebuama had an unfortunate accident that even the compromise in fraud when it comes to arms movement and the armory has been bastardized. The arms were moved and nobody could be held accountable. When we all know as law enforcement officers that there's basic thing we call a chain of custody, and we have a clearance book that takes care of everything we do, but the state itself could move arms and nobody is being held accountable. And armory and arms have been stolen and nobody is held accountable. So I'm not surprised when people say Ghana has become a grand thing because people do whatever they want. The only way to resolve it is that when people flout our laws, we need to be bold enough, we need to be courageous enough and hold them accountable. If we don't hold people accountable and we don't have punitive actions for people who flout our laws, arms will move from the state of armed robbery into killing ourselves and displacing a large number of people. It's a simple thing. You don't need a soothsayer. You don't need a prophet. It's a very simple thing that we can do, and yet we are not doing it. So for the state to act one more time in this particular case.
And finally, Mr. Kumado, finally, we know that as a result of the conflict, people have had to leave their homes. I mean, we have to ensure that they get back. Within the short term, what should the approach be to make sure that people are able to go back safely to their homes and live their normal lives?
Some of the deaths that has occurred, it will be people who have already illness, history of illness in particular area. They may not have access to straightforward hospital or something. Anxiety, fear, anxiousness will lead to people to die. But you realize that when the IGP got into the area with a special operation, the killing have subsided. Direct confrontation and killing have subsided largely. Just recently, the CDS and the IGP and the Army Chief were in the area. There are some other aspects I don't want to say on air, but the BNI director was there, the National Security Coordinator was there. All the big men in the security architecture area have also been to the area. The government sent the Interior Minister to our grandfather, the Yagbon Ra. They have all been to the area. That has helped in terms of engaging the community leaders and in terms of public education and speaking to the people. But we are talking about a whole stretch of communities isolated in places. So when you trigger one, it affects all manner of people. And there has been a local profiling where certain people have been targeted unnecessarily because of the first incident that happened and the second one that is a retaliation. So until we resolve the root causes, law enforcement officers will be there temporarily, and even if we set up a camp there, they will be there. But this has something to do with tradition, has something to do with culture, has something to do with chieftaincy, has something to do with land. And this group of people must sit down, and we have to be truthful to ourselves. Mostly we don't tell the truth. We have to be truthful to ourselves and make sure that our actions that is leading to displacement of people could be curtailed. And that if we don't do it, then you are asking law enforcement to come in with a brute force. And when law enforcement come in with a brute force, the consequences could be there. And we'll have the same traditional authority and politicians say that why should law enforcement use brute force against the people? But when your action shows that you have become a threat to society within your environment and larger aspects of Ghana, then you have become an enemy of the state. And this is the confusion, and this is the diagnosis of what we can do, and we have not been doing it because we don't want to do it because of the ramifications and the consequences.
Okay. We'll leave it here for now. Mr. Kumado, thank you very much for joining us once again this morning. Richard Kumado is a security and fraud prevention consultant joining us this morning. Very interesting insights over there. And then let me do one more round around the table. I know we've touched on some of the solutions already, but let's narrow it down. Maybe top three. What should the approach be? There are some who have thrown out the name. I've heard over the weekend there were suggestions for a commission of inquiry to even be set up. Maybe that would answer some of the issues that you are looking out for, the fact-finding aspect of it.
I just hope this committee of inquiry thing wouldn't be our usual doing something to represent something. That's what we do in this country. I heard my friend Kumado speak forcefully about how politicians, you see, they take advantage of these issues. You understand? They take advantage of these issues. And you see, can you believe that just a plot of land can cause all this? No. It's just a little evidence of a deep-seated underlying issue within the community. It's like a couple saying that they are divorcing, and the reason for their divorce is because they don't like the way they press toothpaste. I've had that experience before. You understand? That isn't the issue. There's a deeper issue.
That's more or less like the trigger.
Exactly. So, for me, like I'm saying, and I'll keep on saying, whether the committee of inquiry will solve the issue, whether our law courts will solve the issue. Because if there's a dispute between who owns the land, then it has to go to court. And for us to hope that the court will have the courage to speak truth to power. Because in our country, what I've realized over the course of my short life is that truth is a very big commodity in Ghana. And there are so many issues that we are facing because of a lack of courage to speak the truth. Because the land there belongs to some authority. There's no virgin land in Ghana. You understand? We have, and there ought to be a history to all the land. Like there ought to be a history to all the lands in this country. Are we saying that we do not have what's called a collection of the history of how the land they are fighting over got to be owned by either the skin, or if it's owned by the Asfolos communities, by the clans there. There must be a story. You understand? So whether it's a commission of inquiry, I don't subscribe to a commission of inquiry based on my account. You see, if they really
because outside of that, how do we do the facts finding properly if there's going to be a state involvement?
No, but the courts are there.
So it means that would mean the disputing factions would have to take the matter.
But that's the essence of why in the system we created there is a court and it's the third arm of government. Their duty there is to resolve a dispute. That's the essence of the court, and they have enforcement abilities. My brother rightly, also, if I agree with almost everything said, so about the guns issue, it boils down to enforceability. The sheer lack of commitment to enforce the laws we create. We create laws, you understand, but we are afraid to enforce the laws, and we talk too much, and we don't want to hurt this body, we don't want to hurt that, and they are connected. No, the law is the law.
It's the law.
The law is the law.
It's the law,
and we should not be afraid to enforce the law, because that's the only way we can have that civil society where all of our rights can be guaranteed. We claim that one of the abiding principles underpinning our constitution is a belief in the rule of law, and two, a belief in the principle of probity and accountability. And yet, in the way we behave and handle things, is as if we don't want to be governed by the rule of law. We don't want to be accountable. You understand?
But you see the difference I drew his attention to about if we are here in Accra, right, sitting here, I pull out a gun right now. I mean, they'll lock me up quickly. About the sensitive political aspect of it, that's what puts everyone in fear, the enforceability point you make.
Exactly, because why do we give our powers to the politicians? You know, I've said this before. See, the basis for the system of governance we have here is what the legal philosophers will say, social contract, the state of nature. You understand? You have a situation where Thomas Hobbes says that this man in this natural state lives a life that is brutish, that's short. And the reason why we sign a contract with central government is so that we give our powers to central government for what purpose? You understand? To create laws that at least will bring some civility to. Indeed, if we want to go through in fact, I know that our system is premised more on the second treatise of the works of I can't remember, but the author of the second treatise of government, where he says that there's a social contract between government and ourselves, but also between ourselves. You understand? And that's why we make laws. We make laws so that at the end of the day, the state of nature, which is supposed to be British, will be civil, and all of our rights can find effect. So if, based on that premise, we've taken upon ourselves a constitution where we've distributed powers and given powers to the state to create laws and enforce them so that our lives will be protected. And the government we've given our powers to is afraid to enforce the law. Then did we go or did we come? We need to be serious. We shouldn't be afraid to. It's not about just creating laws, but we create laws and we don't enforce. And because of that, we have the Galamsey issue, where clearly is an issue of enforceability. The proliferation of arms, matter of enforceability. Even in ownership of land, matter of enforceability. In recognizing our local authority, matter of enforceability and the truth. You understand? So we need, as a people, we need to rethink and recommit ourselves to the values enshrined in our constitution that we believed are the only way in which our rights to life, our right to our liberties, our right to personal happiness can be guaranteed. Today, as we speak, 31 of our compatriots have lost their lives. 13 of our compatriots have fled from Ghana.
13,000.
13,000. 48 of our compatriots have been displaced. Yeah, is that the kind of society we want to build? Is that why we give our powers to our politicians? They need to set up and use the powers we've given them. We need to enforce the law in this country.
Mr. Jemega, your top in terms of approach solutions dealing with this matter?
Yes, my top two will be rigorous interaction with all the necessary stakeholders. I believe that continuous engagement, continuous discussion, continuous interaction will yield a result. I also feel that temporarily we must have a security post in the area, and we should commit a lot of resources there. Recently in Akwetia, we committed resources and we saw the outcome. We can, talking from what Mr. Kumado said, he talks about a situation where we see murder and allow it to be the spoils of war, or alleged murder and allow it to be the spoils of war. If it is murder or alleged murder, it should be murder. It shouldn't be a collateral of war. That is what we've seen. So we should have increased police presence, or increased military or increased security presence in the area. That will bring this down. Finally, we should be able to engage our own persons who are intermarried in the area. I know it might be a bit volatile, but I don't know the history, the connection, but I think a visit by our president, His Excellency, to the area will also maybe bring things down. But I'm very happy that he has instructed the Minister of Interior, and the Minister of Interior had been there together with the IGP, and they have also set up a working group to deal with some of these things. Then the NADMO situation. You see, this conflict has not received so much publicity. It happened around the Akwetia election. So all the publicity went towards Akwetia election. So it became a situation where to bury bad news. So I will urge the media as well. Bring this to the front.
There's a reason why we spent the entire discussion segment on it.
Bring this to the front of the banner. Don't send it back to the back burner. No, bring it to the fore Don't leave it in the parking lot, so that when it is an issue at the forefront and is being discussed every day, we will all be able to have a bite at it, and people will say that, hey, this is where we are. The image we are projecting to the world is not okay. So the media, you have a responsibility. Let it not only be the traditional media as we are discussing, your handles, your TikToks, etc. So, and all of us who have a stake in seeing that Ghana prospers, let us reach out to people we know in the area that lay down your arms. Let's give development and peace a chance.
Doc, I'll give you the final word.
Yes, so for me, I think that I still stand on my earlier points. They know themselves, they understand themselves better. And I think that the missing link there is the power of forgiveness. And they need to probably solve their own problems. And so I think that the communities, not just Binyiri, right, all other places up north, where there appears to be some level of conflict, they should come together and be able to discuss issues among themselves. If your forefathers committed a sin, and that sin is becoming problematic, you obviously must find a way. If you are not learning from the past, then obviously you are not doing yourself any good. I also want to say, beyond what my lawyers have said, that the best approach is that the key stakeholders, I mean the chiefs, the opinion leaders, and other people, religious leaders and all, who are within these enclaves, should come together and, as it were, be able to design their own solutions and solve the problem. Yes, I agree to the political aspect of it, where, state resources, state authority have been given to the president and government in power, to ensure the security of its citizens. That's true, right? But if you understand the topology of up north, you know that they live in scattered settlements. So even if there is a police station, somewhere, by the time that something happens and the police gets there, by the time they are there, it will be too late.
Okay.
And that is what makes conflict resolution there becomes a bit difficult, for the military and security people. So I think that the best way to start, is about, understanding themselves and forgiving each other, stakeholder engagement, and all that. I think that when they start with some of these initiatives, especially with the issue of, trying to deal with their past, it will be good for this country and for them.
All right, thank you very much, Doc. And early on, Doc, you made a point about a chief who had died. We are getting some information. We actually told that it's actually his son, who is a warrior, who died. Warrior. And his son who is a warrior. I get where you're asking. Yeah, then the more recent death, the peace operators within the area are saying that they can't connect it to the conflict yet, but it's a death has occurred. The more recent one that you made reference to.
The one charging the phone.
Yes, they're saying that.
That's the more reason why I'm saying that if it is an alleged murder, it should be treated as murder. Yes, it should be treated as a collateral of the war.
Yes, so that is also a danger that sometimes comes. Let's do some messages quickly before you go. Musa Abatwa in Asawasi, you say that government's exploring all solutions to resolve the unfortunate conflict in Sola so that the over 13,000 people who fled to Cote d'Ivoire for shelter can safely return home. We appeal to those involved in the conflict to give peace a chance, as dialogue remains the best form of mediation. The Interior Minister and the IGP are making genuine efforts to address this situation. And Kwablavi from Pokwasi Benghazi, you say ECOWAS must stop President Ouattara from contesting. Okay, you're talking about the Cote d'Ivoire situation. For the fourth time, to avoid tension and violence in Cote d'Ivoire, Ghanaians living in Binyiri in Ivory Coast are innocent people, but it's unfortunate that they are being attacked and killed by the wicked militia there. So that is it by way of some messages that have come through as a contribution to this discussion. My guests this morning have been Andrew Appiah Dankwa is a senior communicator, Movement for Change, a legal practitioner as well. Dr. Bernard Tutubuan is a political strategist. And Theophilus Jimega is a member of the NDC communications team, an engineer and a legal practitioner as well. We're also joined by Christopher Mwako, my colleague in the Savannah region. Richard Kumado, a security consultant, also joined us for this part of the segment as well. Some good news for you before we go. If you want to look smart and fashionable, visit any Woodin boutique nationwide today. Woodin offers an amazing collection of authentic African fabrics and ready-to-wear that comes in beautiful designs and colors for men and women. With Woodin, you can get creative and versatile with your designs. Be confident and show off how truly African you are in Woodin. Go to a Woodin boutique near you today and choose from a variety of trendy products to complement your unique style. Follow Woodin Fashion on Facebook, Instagram at Woodin Fashion, and TikTok at Woodin_fashion. So that is it by way of some good news for you this morning. There's a lot more coming up on New Day. Some bit of sports here and there. We brought you a bit of interaction earlier on. The Black Stars, they are back in action. We all expect them to win by 4-1. That's my prediction. 4-1.
I don't know where
someone, they are saying I'll get heart attack. If we don't,
all we need is to win.
All we need is to win. Even 1-0 is fine.
1-0 is fine.
Okay. That's right. So let's see how that one goes there. I'll stay tuned in.
How may I help you today?
We'd like to open a bank account.
Sign here, sign here.